So we didn't have to do number 5 and number 6. Let's go ahead and start with number 1. So I'm going to do it on the side over here.
See if I got it right.
So we see this equation here that has 2a plus 3c is equal to 11. So in that one, our b is already canceled out. So we want to take these two equations and cancel out our b. So our goal here is to get these two b's to cancel out. So what do we have to multiply to the first one to get, and the second one?
Times 3
3 and 4.
Perfect. So we're going to multiply everything in our first equation times 3. Because what we do to one thing, we have to do to everything in the equation. And then we're going to multiply everything in the second equation by 4. That way we'll get our b's to be both 12, and they'll cancel. So I'm going to rewrite my new equations over here. So what's negative 3a times 3? Negative 9a. What's negative 4b times 3? Negative 12b. What is 2c times 3? 6c. And what's 28 times 3?
84.
Are you sure? 84. Good job. All right, now the second one. We're multiplying everything times 4. So what's a times 4? 4a. What is 3b times 4?
12b.
And what's negative 4c times 4?
Negative 16c.
Negative 16c. And negative 31 times 4? Negative 124. Yes. All right, now we see we have that negative 12b and positive 12b, so we can go ahead and combine. So negative 9a plus 4a would be what? Negative 5a. Our 12s cancel. What is 6c minus 16c? Negative 10c. And 84 minus 124? Negative 40. So now we're going to take our third equation that already had the b's canceled out and put it right below. So we have 2a plus 3c is equal to 11. Now again, we have two equations with two variables, so we're going to cancel one out. Which one should we cancel? The a's or the c's? A's. So what do we have to multiply into which equation to get them to cancel? So we want to get them both to be a 10, so we're going to multiply the top times 2, so we have to multiply everything times 2. And the bottom one we want to get to be a 10, so we have to multiply everything times 5. Perfect. So I'm going to rewrite them down here. So negative 5a times 2. Negative 10a. Negative 10c times 2. Negative 20c. And negative 40 times 2. Negative 80. Now our second equation. 2a times 5.
10a.
3c times 5. 15c.
15c.
And 11 times 5. 55.
5.
What happens to our 10a's? Cancel out. Since
Cancel
one's
out.
negative, one's positive, they cancel. What happens to our c's?
Negative 5.
Negative 5c. And then what's negative 80 plus 55? Negative 25. How do we solve for c?
Divide by negative 5.
Divide by negative 5. So these cancel. C is equal to what?
5.
5. So we got our C. Now we need to take this and plug it into one of our equations with two variables. So which equation do you want to plug it into? So we're plugging it into the second one here. and just got to make sure we plug it in for c. So this is 2a plus 3 times 5 is equal to 11. Now we need to solve for a. So what do we need to do first?
3 times 5.
3 times 5, so 2a plus 15 is equal to 11. Now what?
Subtract 15.
Subtract 15. So 2a is equal to, what's 11 minus 15?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. And then we divide by 2. So what do we get for a? Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Alright, perfect. Now we need to find b. So what do we have to plug a and c into to find b? One of the original equations. So I'm going to plug it into the second one here. So I have a, which is negative 2, plus 3b minus 4c, and c is 5, is equal to negative 31. Now we solve for b. So what do we do first?
4 times 5.
Negative 4 times 5, which would be negative 20. What do we need to do next?
Add 20 on both sides.
Add 20 to both sides. So negative 2 plus 3b is equal to, what's negative 30 plus 20? Negative 31 plus 20.
Negative 11.
Negative 11. Now what?
Add 2.
Add 2. So 3b is equal to negative 9.
Negative 9.
Divide by 3.
Divide by 3.
What do we get for b? Negative 3. Perfect. So we have our a, our b, and our c, and we're done.
Can you scroll up?
Yep. So that's everything for number 1. Okay. So which variable do you want to start with? What do you want to cancel out first? Okay, y. We see that we have a single y here. But if we look at the first equation, does it have a z? No, it doesn't have an x. So the x is already canceled out for us in the first equation, so that tells us we want to cancel out an x. So we're going to take the next two equations, so equation 2 and 3, and cancel out an x. So if you did not start it this way, that's totally fine. There's more than one way to do these. But if we cancel out the x's first, it kind of helps us skip a step. So what do we have to multiply by which equation to get our x's to cancel out in the second two? So we're trying to get these to cancel. Multiply the bottom by 2. So if we multiply the x by 2, we have to multiply everything by 2. So I'm going to rewrite our first equation, which is, or second equation, the one in the middle. So that is 4x plus 2y plus 3z is equal to 7. Now I need to multiply 2 times our third equation. So what's negative 2x times 2?
Negative 4x.
Negative 4x. What is negative y times 2?
Negative 2y.
Negative 2y. And negative z times 2?
Negative 2z.
Negative 2z. And that's equal to negative 6.
Negative 6.
So now that we have a positive 4x and a negative 4x, these are going to cancel. So we can go ahead and combine. What's 2y minus 2y? 0. So these cancel too. And then what is 3z minus 2z? Z. And then 7 minus 6?
1.
1. So z is equal to 1. That's awesome. That's one of our answers. Yay. What can we plug this into? The first one, perfect. If we only have one answer, one variable, we can only plug it into an equation with two variables because we can't find two variables at one time. So we wouldn't be able to plug it in with one with three variables. So that's why we have to plug it into the first one here. So we plug 1 in for z. So we have 3y minus 5 times 1 is equal to negative 23. So 3y minus 5 is equal to negative 23. What do we do next?
Add 5.
Add 5. So 3y is equal to, what's negative 23 plus 5?
Negative 18.
Negative 18. Then we divide by 3. So what do we get for y?
Negative 6.
Negative 6. Perfect. Now that we have two variables, we can plug it into an equation with three variables. So what do you want to plug it into? Which one? The third one, sure. We can plug it into the second or third, doesn't matter. But let's plug it into the third. Our numbers look smaller. So we have negative 2x minus negative 6. So we plug in negative 6 for y, minus 1 for z, and that's equal to negative 3. So how do we solve this? The 6 becomes positive, so this is negative 2x plus 6 minus 1 is equal to negative 3. What do we do next?
6 minus 1.
6 minus 1, so that is negative 2x plus 5 is equal to negative 3. Now
Subtract 5.
subtract 5. Negative 2x is equal to negative 8.
Divide by negative 2.
Divide by negative 2. So x is equal to what? 4.
4.
So we found our x, y, and z, and we're done. Yay. All right, what do you want to cancel out first? X, y, or z? Y. We see that we have a single y, so a y with the coefficient of 1. So that's a good one to pick. So you want to combine the second equation with the first one or with the third? The which one? Sure, let's do the third one. We're going to have to end up doing it to both, so it doesn't matter which one we pick first. So we want our y's to cancel. So what do we have to multiply times our second equation to get it to cancel out with our third?
2.
2. So we want this to be a positive 2y to cancel out with the negative 2y. So we're going to multiply everything in here by 2. So I'm going to rewrite our new second equation down here. We have 4x plus 2y. What's 4z times 2? 8z. And what's 19 times 2?
18z.
19 times 2. 38. And then we can just rewrite our third equation right below it. So that's negative 5x minus 2y plus 8z is equal to 62. So our goal is to cancel out the two y's. Can we go ahead and combine our equations? Yep. What is 4x minus 5x? Negative x. What happens to our y's? Cancel. What's 8z plus 8z? 16z. And what's 38 plus 62? 100? Alright, so now we have one equation with two variables. We need one more equation with two variables. So we just canceled out the y's. We need to cancel out the y's again. So now we need to pick two new equations. Can't pick the same two, so one of them has to be different. So which two equations do you want to pick? We can pick the first and the second, or the first and the third. First and the second? Okay. So we're working with these two now. So again, we need our y's to cancel. So what do we have to multiply times our second equation to get our y to cancel? If we have a positive 6y, we need a negative 6y. So what are we going to have to multiply times our second equation? Negative 6. So everything has to be multiplied times negative 6. So I'm going to rewrite our first equation. That is 3x plus 6y minus 2z is equal to negative 6. Our new second equation, what's 2x times negative 6? Negative 12x minus 6y. What's 4z times negative 6? Negative 24z. And what is 19 times negative 6?
C.
19 times negative 6. So we're multiplying. Negative 114. Can we combine these to cancel out our y's? Yes. So what's 3x minus 12x? Negative 9x. What happens to our y's? Cancels. What is negative 2z minus 24z? Perfect. Negative 26z. And then negative 6 minus 114. Negative 120. So now we have our second equation with two variables. What do we do next? We have two equations with two variables. What can we do? How do I solve both of them? I want to combine them. So we have negative x plus 16z is equal to 100. You can only solve if you have only one variable in your equation.
Yeah.
So here we have two with two variables, so we want to combine to cancel them out. So our goal is to get one variable in our equation. Okay, so we have negative x plus 16z is equal to 100, and negative 9x minus 26z is equal to 120. So the x's look like they're easier to cancel.
Yeah.
What do we have to multiply? If we multiply it times 9, you have a negative 9 and negative 9. Times negative 9. So we're multiplying everything in here times negative 9. Okay, so our new first equation would be positive 9x. 16 times negative 9. Negative 144. Z is equal to negative 900. So now we're combining these two equations together. Our goal is to cancel out the x's. Do our x's cancel? Yes. So what is negative 26z minus 144? Negative 170z. And negative 120 minus 900? Negative 1020. So now we divide both sides by negative 170. Okay, hopefully this is an even number. Oh, thank goodness. Z is equal to 6. So we found our Z, yay. What can we do with it? Plug it into one with 2 variables. Awesome. So we can either plug it into the blue one or the red one. The blue one looks a little bit smaller, so let's plug it into the blue. So we're plugging it in for Z. So this is negative x plus 16 times 6 is equal to 100. So negative x plus, what's 16 times 6? 96 is equal to 100. Subtract 96 on both sides. So negative x is equal to 4. So then what is perfect. So x is equal to negative 4. Now we have z and x. So how do we find y? Plug it into one of our original problems. So you want to plug it into the first, second, or third? Alright, let's plug it into the first. So we have 3 times x, which is negative 4, plus 6y, minus 2z, which is 6, is equal to negative 6. So we're solving for y. What do we need to do? Multiply. So negative 12 plus 6y minus 12 is equal to negative 6. What do we do next? Combine. So negative 12 minus 12 would be negative 24. Notice how since they're both on the same side, we don't change the sign, we just combine them. So 6y minus 24 is equal to negative 6. Add 24. So 6y is equal to, what's negative 6 plus 24? 18. Divide by 6. Y equals 3. Yay, done. So we found our x, y, and z. With one problem. Looking at number 4. What do you want to cancel out first? S. That's a good one. We have a single s here, so we can cancel out our s's. What do we have to multiply times our first equation to get it to cancel out with our second s? Times 2. Perfect. So we have, for number 4, our new first equation is negative 8r minus 2s plus 6t is equal to negative 18. And then our second equation stays the same, so that one is 3r plus 2s minus t is equal to 3. So can we combine our equations to cancel out the s's? Yes. So we have negative 8r. Oh yeah. So we combine them. So negative 8r plus 3r would be negative 5r. 2 s's cancel out. Negative 6t minus t.
Mm,
5t. And negative 18 plus 3? Negative 15. So we have an equation with two variables. We pause here, go back to the start. So we just combined the first and the second. Our goal is to cancel out the s's, so it would be easier to combine the first and the third. That way we just have to multiply our first one by what to get it to cancel? 3. Because again, our goal is to cancel out the s's here. We can ignore this one here. Because we just did the first and the second, so we have to pick a different pair to work with. So if we wanted to do the second and third, we could have. It would just be, we would have to multiply both of our equations by something. So it's kind of easier just to do the first and the third. So what do we have to multiply times the first one? Our goal is to cancel out the s's, so what do we have to multiply times our first equation? 3. So we're multiplying everything in here by 3. So our new equation, we have negative 12r minus 3s plus 9t is equal to negative 27. And r plus 3s minus 5t is equal to 29.
Wait, Miss Carver, I have a question.
Yes.
Couldn't you cancel the t's too? 'Cause that's what I used.
Yeah, if we wanted to pick the t's to cancel out, definitely could have done that. You could have canceled out the r's if you wanted to, too.
So they all get the same answer? No matter
Yep.
what you cancel out?
It'll just be a different pathway to the answer, but yes, you'll end up with the same answer if you did your work right. So you'll see once we find the answers that you can start by canceling out the t's and you'll end up with the same thing. So there's definitely more than one way to get the answer. So we see our s's will cancel out. What's negative 12r plus r? Negative 11r. And what is 9t minus 5t? 4t. And negative 27 plus 29? 2. So now we have two equations with two variables. We can go ahead and combine them. So I'm just going to move this one down here. So this is negative 5r plus 5t is equal to negative 15. All right, so now we need to pick r or t to cancel out. So what can we do? All right, Gabby says t. So we are going to have to multiply both of our equations by something to get these to cancel. So what can we multiply times the first equation? So we multiply 4 times 5. So we have to multiply everything in the first one by 5. And then we can multiply 5 times 4. So that would give us 20t and 20t. What are we forgetting? Can they both be positive? Positive 20t and positive? So which one are we going to multiply times the negative? Sure, it doesn't matter. We can, just as long as we pick one to be a negative, so we can do the top. So we have to multiply the top one by negative 5. So our new top equation is going to be 55r minus 20t is equal to negative 10. And then our second equation is negative 20r plus 20t is equal to, what's negative 15 times 4? Negative 60. Can we combine our two equations now? Yep. So 55r minus 20r would be what? 35r. And negative 10 minus 60? Negative 70. Divide both sides by 35. R is equal to what? Negative 2. Whew. 5 more minutes. Almost done. Okay, what do we do with the R? Perfect. Let's plug it into the yellow one. So we have negative 5 times R, which is negative 2, plus 5t is equal to negative 15. Multiply, so this would be 10 plus 5t is equal to negative 15. Subtract, 5t is equal to negative 25. Divide. What did you guys get for t? Negative 5. So now we have r and t. What do we do next? Plug it into one of the originals. So we can plug it into, which one do you want to pick? First, second, or third? Second. So that would be 3r. I don't know, I scribbled through it. Yeah. So 3r, which would be 3 times negative 2, plus 2s minus negative 5 is equal to 3. What do we do first to solve? Multiply. Negative 6 plus 2s. What is negative times negative 5? Positive 5. What do we do next? Combine. So we have negative 6 plus 5, which would give us negative 1. What do we do next? Add 1. 2s is equal to 4. And now what? Divide by 2. S is equal to 2. And that's it. Yay, we're done. So we found R, T, and S. I understand these are a lot of steps. When we have a test or quiz, we'll probably only have one of these. So on the next test, you'll probably only have one question like this.